Good morning, Podbean fam, or afternoon, whenever you're tuning in. But we are back for another episode of Podbean Amplified. This is episode number 4, and we have a very special sit-in guest with us. We are actually a trio today. So I got myself, Shay, of course. We have Jared, our wonderful co-host. Seen him a couple of times. Get used to it. We'll be here.
We here.
And the queen, Lady Kensington, Miss Ericka. Miss Ericka, behind the scenes, brought to the front of the camera. We are so excited to have you. If you don't know Ericka, she is our social media content creator, our digital imager, our everything behind the scenes, fueling us and supporting us, the brains, the brawn, the backbone to our clan. I can never say enough good things about you, honestly. I'm so happy to have you next to me.
Yeah.
But we are ready to get started, getting it rolling. Jared, how you feel?
As I spoke before we went live, we're officially experts now. This is we're experts. It's 4th episode.
4th episode. We're in there. We're professionals. We know what we're doing. Speaking of knowing what we're doing, the biggest thing that we like to push on Podbean is amplify your message. And, in this trending topic, I would like to talk about, actually, I want to show the video first. It has a lot of information, so let's roll it.
A controversial art exhibit in Denmark featured a trio of piglets left to die, but now they're missing. Here's what we know. Artist Marco Evaristi, who created the installation, reported that someone had stolen the 3 piglets. The exhibit, titled, And Now You Care, debuted last week in Copenhagen. Evaristi designed the installation to raise awareness about mass meat production, particularly the treatment of pigs in Denmark. In a surprising...
Interesting.
They left out the best part, and I quote, "I am willing to pay a high price for these."
High price?
For these piglets?
For these... Okay. There's a lot of things wrong with that, and I'm going to leave the floor to you guys because I'm going to take over this conversation real fast.
Well, it's interesting that, okay, I think we agree. We're all for, having a certain opinion, passion about something. That's not the issue. But, being an artist and protesting, I think in the history of mankind, there's been so many different types of protests that involve some type of artistry, whatever we're talking about, boycott of some sort. The fact that he got the pigs, and again, even in more, the actual article, he starved the piggies. Okay, I love that they kept referencing them as little piggies. 3 little piggies.
The thing that gets me is that they have names.
Yeah.
Man.
That is so humanizing them.
I can't eat
of all.
bacon anymore, guys. I've quit.
That's crazy.
But that's just a perfect example of fighting fire with fire. It's
Right.
hold on, let me raise awareness for these dying pigs by killing pigs.
Crazy. The complete opposite of what you were tasked to do, right? And I think, and Ericka could speak to this, right? As artists, we want to use our platform and our abilities to create awareness.
Yeah.
But in this case, if anything, you put more piggies in harm.
Yeah. Being an artist, you don't need to have a living thing for your installation. You can
Right.
do other ways. And he's saying if he's gonna pay for a high price, why not pay for someone who can make that a sculpture?
Yeah.
Or something like a doll that makes it more realistic,
Yeah.
that can still deliver that
Get the
message
point
he wants.
across. Come on.
Your intention is there, my king, ever ready.
Evaristi.
I'm sorry, listen, you want to kill pigs, I'm going to butcher your name.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm kidding. I apologize. His name is Marco Evaristi, and it is just, in my opinion, the most inhumane way to try and speak on something that's already there. He not only did you not put them in a proper cage, but you just put 2 shopping carts. They call them trolleys, but they put 2 trolleys together and just put, little floofy stuff for them to lay there. And he's starving them of food and water.
Wow.
And he's saying, there's so much going on in Denmark with animal cruelty.
Yeah.
And here's my way of showing you, by showing you that I can be inhumane as well.
Wow. And then he doubled down.
Yo, he did.
How about the double down?
After moments, sorry, I quote, hours, just hours of reflection and probably those hours of hate. He was like, at least those piggies will be will be taken care of. And
Yeah.
it's like, they wouldn't had you have been successful.
Exactly.
But you said doubling down is now he is looking for another way to still hold that message by
Yeah.
buying a meat locker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a see-through meat locker, and getting pigs from these factories that are already deceased and just stuffing them to the brim is what I read, until it's close to like just
Blowing up.
blowing up from being so
Smelling.
filled.
This is that like part of the world where I would love to go to real animal rights organizations and ask, like, is this the guy you want to represent you?
Right.
And I don't think they would say yes, just because, and I've spoken to this before too, like I've been in artistry music and I've, edited XYZ, done videography. There is an attention factor here too. And it's like, are you doing this for attention or do you actually care? Because I'm on the side of, I eat bacon. I'm sorry. But if you genuinely had a passionate stance on animal rights, especially when it comes to pigs, I would respect it.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know.
I feel like he's just like selfish intentions. Because if you're trying to make a movement, why do you need to do that?
Kill more pigs, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The thing that got me is this article that I was reading. The last quote is saying, hold on, I need to read it because I don't want to butcher it. And there I go with the butchering again. I'm not doing this on purpose, I swear. I'm just naturally awkward.
Passionate.
So, hold on. Oh, okay. He says, I'm in the process of acquiring animals that have died of starvation or other terrible circumstances in agriculture. I want to display them in a transparent refrigerator.
Golly.
He said, I acquired the refrigerator and now I just need the dead animals. I'm willing to pay a high price.
So you're paying for more dead animals to put, it's backwards at that point.
Yeah.
The double down is crazy. He should be in Vegas.
Well, you know what? Podbean, we love to amplify your message. And even though his intentions were there and the way he marketed and did that was all wrong, we are still going to amplify your message, King. Just be mindful where you're getting your product if you're an activist or if you're concerned of that nature. But, there are real things happening. I do think that his movement was plausible. They're raising pigs to give birth to litters of 20. And we know that scientifically you only have 14 teats. How are you going to support the other 6? And so I think that's where he was trying to get the message across. Good on the intention. Delivery was a lot. It fell through a lot. But
Switching gears, we're going to talk about how to not market terribly and go counterproductive on your topic. But this is Podbean Amplified. We are also at Podbean, a software company. We have features and tips, tricks to help you be better at podcasting. So today we're going to highlight one of those things. This is our Podbean software highlight segment. The first thing we want to talk about again is Podbean Academy. Guys, I spoke about it last episode. You have so many people out here. And again, if that's your thing, and I would think maybe some of these master quote-unquote master classes probably do add value, probably do give you some ability to learn something new and apply it to your trade, your specific focus, and be better at it. But we at Podbean, we supply free tutorials. We supply free tips, free videos to help you in your podcasting journey. All you got to do is go to podbean.com and just go down to the bottom of the page, click on Podbean Academy. And we have 2 right here, the people behind the scenes between Eric and Shay. They're the ones crafting the content. They're the ones creating the videos. And you're going to get used to these people helping you through your journey. We just want to help.
absolutely. More specifically, a Podbean Academy highlight that I would like to talk about is group recording.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when I was talking about I want a podcast, I had mentioned, I want a co-host, and she actually moved. She used to live in Vegas and now she's gone. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with the podcast now? I kind of tabled it, put it to the side, but knowing Podbean Academy and, all of the bonuses that they have included in the app, you can record from anywhere in the world with your friends. And I think that's pretty unique. So, you know, if you're somebody starting up and you don't want to be on a podcast by yourself, you can definitely hit up a friend and say, hey, download the Podbean app and we can record together live. And not only do you get that audio from the group setting, but each individual person will get their own audio. So, I mean, so much you can do with that free content, you know, and doing it anywhere in the world. You know, even if you have a podcast and you didn't know about this feature, it can open up a major world of having guests on there or a possible co-host that you've been meaning to, you know, hit up or talk to.
And we always talk about it, like, you know, when we're creating content, me, Ericka, or Shay, we're always like, you know, we want to be able to help people have practical solutions to their problems for podcasting, right? So at the end of the day, people might not know how to bring a co-host on, right? And they maybe think they got to be in a studio like this, or they maybe think that they have to have some super intricate setup. Hey, Podbean, the co-hosting grouping feature, you can send a link to whoever you want in the world to hop on a podcast with you. And it's just that simple.
No excuses. I don't want to hear any more excuses. I will say that every single episode, but every single episode we bring you more features, more information, and just valuable knowledge as far as podcasting. So definitely check it out. We're not lying. It's free and there's over 20 tutorials. There's free 99. Exactly.
Awesome.
And now for my favorite segment. I always talk about it. It will always be my favorite segment. Meeting and greeting the podcast world, Miss Ericka.
Hello.
Miss Ericka Kensington. I call her my Queen Kensington. No, I'm so glad to have you. And I'm so happy that people are finally able to see who is the mastermind behind everything that we do. It takes a village, people. It's not, you know, we are a small collective, but together we bring about real product and real change and just some amazing content. But let us know what you do. And then take us through a walk of your vision of the day or your schedule, really.
First and foremost, you don't need to have pigs to market your podcast. Don't do that. It's not good.
No pigs, please.
No pigs. It's just for like, I know it's for attention, but what I do is I check up on Podbean. I see everyone's comments, everyone's DMs. So I see you guys' feedbacks. And I take upon what we need to make content for, like, for example, if you guys need more content for marketing, for editing, or just basically hosting, starting a podcast, and that's just it. And by then I can try to schedule like what you guys need.
Don't feel like you guys are going unheard here. You were looking and talking to the person behind the social medias. If you have questions, if you want to see a tutorial, if you want, you know, anything as far as knowledge goes with the website or the app, Ericka is your girl. She'll be receiving those, and then we'll get to work on those tutorials, those videos, explaining really anything that you need. So
just keep tagging us, comment, leave a comment, just follow. I'll be seeing you guys.
We're not AI. We're real. We're actually responding to your DMs, responding to your comments.
We're here in person. I've been doing graphic art, media, music, for over 13 years. One thing about Ericka, when she came in, her background in graphic art is extremely deep, right? Her understanding of also grafting, marketing materials, and the wording and the messaging is she's just been doing this for a long time as well. Explain to the viewers, we're always big on not just aesthetics, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it looks perfect all at once. It's a process, right? But also explain to the viewers why branding, right? Like, not just what it looks like, but what is the messaging behind it? I mean, in your creative process, how important is it to just make sure that you are showing who you are through how you present yourself?
Personal branding would be like the most important if you're starting a podcast, because that lies as a foundation for your podcast. And it's also, think of it as like a soul for your podcast.
Yeah.
It's your whole personality as well. If you don't want to show your personal life out there for the people, you can always create like your own as a character.
Right.
That way you can separate that personal life from that life.
Yeah.
It won't be burnout for you too.
I like that. Yeah. And be true to that, right? I think people don't know what they want to talk about, but then I love that, to just be able to maneuver through this public presentation and not have to put so much of yourself, personally into it, that's definitely a great technique. Yeah, for sure.
And I would say the most important that you can have in your podcast, in your personal brand, would be like the intention. Like, what would be the purpose for it, and how are you gonna share your message? Amplify your voice and amplify your message and your story.
Awesome.
Heck yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about social media, just a tad bit more. A lot of people, I would say most, lack the knowledge and the knowledge of the time and effort it takes to be active on social media. So what would be your biggest piece of advice as far as staying consistent and posting and keeping your social media up to date?
Well, it's quite tough because it depends on how other people function or like their workflow is. But I would say the main thing that they can implement in their content and podcast would have like that emotional connection to other people. So if you put yourself out there and try to connect with them with their pain or like their woes, the value that you're gonna give them, that's what's something that they're gonna, capture their attention from, and they're gonna stick through it because you give me value. So it will help them along the way.
You give me value. Hold on.
Thank you.
I love it.
No, but I love that. I think it goes on, Ericka is a big preacher of quality over quantity. And when you're giving value and you're giving quality content, there's no need to rush and mass produce and post because, like you said, being more genuine and true to yourself, utilizing, your logo and just being more consciously aware of your branding, it'll fall into place and you'll find your people for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love it. Tell the people what's like a big no, right? Because I think, over the years, you kind of just are, especially when you're getting paid, you're kind of like, sure, I'll make that.
Should we just do a big cutoff segment where we go in and popcorn be like the no-nos?
Right.
Boom, boom,
The
boom.
no-nos.
Don't do this. Don't do that. But,
okay, I see.
But no, yeah, maybe what is a no? Like as far as promoting, maybe even just like what's the craziest request someone's asked you to like create for them, and why is it not something that people should do?
Like request in
Just like what's a no as far as like what if someone says, hey, I have a podcast and I want to show my baby picture when I pooped on myself when I was 5, like just stuff like that. Like, what is a no? Like like, hey, I can do this for you. I can create this for you, but you probably shouldn't do it.
Requesting Quan to put that on. Jared, I know you have that photo. You were oddly specific. He has that photo on his phone.
Put it up there. Yeah. Put it up there.
I think the biggest no, I mean, you can always implement a part of your personal life into it, but try to set that boundary. Like, for example, you can't put your children in that area, because if that's the case, you're trying to expose them for, and they're still so young. You don't want that.
Kids off limits. I like that. Yeah.
Try to post with an actual intention, not just by like trying to gain followers or like trying to gain subscribers, because you want someone to be in your podcast that find value, not just for like views, not just for any attention, because you want them to stick around for you.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. I think too, unless you're like a family podcast, like maybe that's your thing, right? I do agree. Yeah, it's so sensitive nowadays. You have so many people and I think with the internet, the blessing of the internet also came with the curse of like, you're out there forever, So yeah, kids and all that. If that's not what you're trying to portray, yeah, keeping off limits. And yeah, to the secondary comment, I love that. Like, you can't just post to try and be more known, right? I think we have a question you guys out there always ask us, and we're going to get there to giving you a very specific answer. But generally people ask us all the time, why am I not making money yet? Yeah. Why don't I have 1,000 followers? It's like, well, have you been genuine? At least, if not to yourself, to a message, Because if not, then what are you creating content for? Just, hey, look at me. That's, it could be an OnlyFans model.
No, seriously.
I'm not knocking those. I'm not knocking you.
And harping on the being intentional, that is truly being intentional. I think across the board, not even in podcasting, but in life, when you're true to yourself and you know who you are, your people will follow and gravitate naturally.
Yeah.
And so when you're being intentional and you know what you want for your page and you are minding what you say and not just, a lot of people will blow up because of the trends and fall flat because they're expecting you to be trendy instead of yourself. And so that's not your demographic.
Yeah.
Trending topics are fleeting. They come and go.
Literally.
And people align with you by knowing who you are, what you stand for. And nowadays with social media, like you said, that your logo is your soul. Your social media is an introduction before we can even meet face to face. Most often than not, I have a lot of social media friends that I haven't met before. And, there's a humanizing factor to amplifying your message and being more personal, is that you think you know them a little better.
Yeah.
It could be good for or worse, but you feel attached to them somehow, relatable, like you're their friend, truthfully.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's facts. What is any advice you would give a podcaster? You've been working here at Podbean now for going on about 3-4 months.
Yeah.
What is just some advice? I mean, we've spoken about being true to yourself. We spoke to different boundaries not to cross, but just you in general, from your graphic art background, media background. I mean, what's just some advice for anybody?
I would say the most important would be patience.
Ooh, don't got it, but yeah.
The most
difficult,
expensive thing
Yeah.
besides time.
Just have some patience, because the more you work on it, it'll just build up, Even just like small things, small efforts every day. I know some people are busy with their 9-to-5 work and stuff like that, but if you just allot a time, at least 30 minutes, an hour for a day, separate your workflow, or this is gonna be like, this day would be writing, this day would be editing. It'll eventually be a big project for you. It will pile up. Those small efforts, once it gets piled up, it'll be big. And that's the reward that you're going to have in the end.
Yeah. I mean, speaking on experience, when I first started content creation, it would take me hours upon days. And sometimes I would have to be like, okay, I did this for 4 hours and I'm not done, but I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'll spend whatever time I have, maybe 30 minutes or, like you said, even a couple of minutes. When you induce that repetition and you have that consistency, it'll be easier. Like from 4 hours, I can tell you confidently now that same editing, same video, same way I'm going to edit will take me 30 minutes as opposed to 4 hours. So it's really like riding a bike. You're on training wheels and it's tough because you see all the kids freely riding, no hands. And you're like, I don't want to ride a bike anymore because I have to use the training wheels. Like, no, honey, ride the bike, graduate, take off the training wheels. Kick your feet up after a while and go no hands. Eventually, no hands, baby.
No hands. No, I totally agree. It wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't reference my age. So, and I'm still learning.
He's not even that old, please. He's not even old.
And I'm still learning patience. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, just and to Shay's point too, it's like I had a friend of mine. He's actually a fairly popular podcasting media person, and he said it like, people think you have to have a huge audience, and this was in terms of monetizing. He says you think you have to have a big audience to make a lot of money. It's just not the case. It's like if you find a steady base of supporters that engage you daily, at least through the means of media, monetizing is there. And I think that's the point of patience, right? And again, going back to identity, like if you know who you are, the people will follow you, right? It's if you are genuine to yourself and to an actual cause, a topic, and are patient to get to the places you want to go, yeah, you're gonna get there.
Definitely.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, this is Ericka from Podbean. Guys, you're gonna see her without seeing her always on the socials. She's very active too. So if you have questions, please, that's what we want. We want you guys to come on our social media. We want you guys to ask questions and engage. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Queen.
Well, hey, we have come again to the end. How we feeling? This 4th episode in. I honestly feel like pro. There's amateurs and pros, like we're pros.
It's getting easier and easier. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a pro, but I would like to say that I'm a pro talker. So give me a topic and we'll talk about it.
Love it. Love it. Guys, we are going to be coming back to you with a new episode next week. Thank you for tuning in. Podbean.com, again, for free. You can go there, you can sign up, and you can join our podcasting family and just get a space to share your message. Again, hence the name, Podbean Amplified. We want to amplify your message. Make sure you guys tune in next week. See you then.
Yes.